Right, so hi, this is Work Initiative meeting for April 2nd, 2020, which I totally got the date wrong in the documents. I fixed that now. And actually, our last meeting was January 9th, so it was quite a while ago. We thought at the time that the world would get so crazy. So now the Drupal 9.1 branch is open. So theoretically, we can go crazy and do whatever we intend to do. So I thought that would be a good time to restart this and to see what's coming out of this. I guess there's one public service announcement that I wanted to start with is Dries is preparing his usual State of Drupal survey that he also sent out before or around the Drupal 8 release and before that for the Drupal 7 release, etc., to gather more feedback on what anybody filling in the survey would want out of Drupal, and then we maybe can entice some of them to form into initiatives. So we'll see how that goes, but that's planned to be part of starting up Drupal 9 as well. Who wants to start with their favorite initiative in terms of?
You want to go, Putra?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And Mike, feel free to jump in as well too. But yeah, we've been making a lot of progress with regards to the Olivero D9 theme. The team is killing it when it comes to knocking down all the key components that are needed to get this theme out of the door for the beta release. So if you look at ticket that we open for adding the new Olivero front-end theme to Drupal 9.1 core, you can see that majority of the tickets are being looked at and are currently going to be merged as well too.
Yeah, I just posted in the chat a link to a tugboat environment that actually shows the theme installed on Drupal. And like you can see it's like starting to come along. And we have a couple of contributors now who are just killing it, and I'm like trying to like review their patches. And it's, you know, at this point, we are more concentrating on good as opposed to perfect. The like the code is not like, you know, meeting core standards. Like the comment blocks are not correct. Like there's a bunch of stuff like that. But we're just trying to get shit working and looking good, and then like get over that accessibility gate. And but like yeah, things are starting to come along with that. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. So you can log in right now and look at the tabs and stuff. Go to /user, log in, and it's admin. And so you can, you know, you can go to the home page and you can kind of see. Yeah, that's weird. Click on like the actual like article there, and you can, and then like hit the add to shortcut. Hit the like little star for add to shortcut next to the title. And you'll see like the messages come up and stuff like that. So you can see like that's kind of styled. The grid system and the spacings and stuff, I've been working on that and refactoring it several times, but it's coming. You can see that, you see how like the button to the top left and the headers like all fixed. That is like, that responds to the toolbar and everything like that. Yeah, it's you can see there's some forum stuff coming on, and yeah, it's coming along. It's looking like really pretty. Ta-da! Or any questions or anything?
Nice, very good. So you're doing the implementation, and then you want to switch over to the course, coding style, etc.
Yeah, like obviously we can move a heck of a lot faster in Contrib right now, especially as we're like refactoring styles as needed and stuff like that. One of my questions to you is, and this is so we can work backwards, what's the absolute deadline to actually have the merge into the 9.1 branch? so we can like say like we need to like get it, committed, I don't know, or submit the patch, a month and a half ahead of time or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Like documentation is good.
I know I should have kind of looked it up, but I figured I would just ask.
So, yeah. Actually, I need to look at. So, your target is beta experimental theme? That's your target for 9.1, or your target is stable?
I would love stable, honestly. Like, I honestly think that we could hit that if we have enough time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you have dates for both, you could give those to me and I'll write them down.
I don't know where it's actually documented, but I think it's either the alpha or beta when your stuff would be. It's either in here or not here. Your module, your theme would be removed if it's not. If it's not good enough. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so the alpha, so this also applies to themes, I believe. But basically, if alpha experimental extension does not reach beta stability before the alpha phase of a given minor release, it will be left in the new development branch for the next, so 9.2 in your case, but removed from the release branch, 9.1 in your case, before the alpha release is done. So
we need to hit beta stability by what date?
That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's my question as well too. Are we looking at the end of this month or?
No, so we're looking at co-release timeline. So this is your next development cycle, and the alpha for 9.1 is October 19th. So you would need to reach beta in October, middle of October latest, with Olivero for it to stay in 9.1. If you don't reach beta by October 19th, in core with Olivero, then it will be removed from 9.1. It will be kept in 9.2, but it will not be released in 9.1. So that's the cutoff. So that's you would need to reach at least beta stability in 9.1 by latest October 19th. But this is like, this is not the date that you should be looking at. Like, you should be getting in much sooner to core, and you should be getting to beta sooner than this, because everybody is trying to get stuff done in the last month before this date, and then there's only so many core committers, and there's only one front-end committer that you need to be working with. So it's hard.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah.
Well, that answers.
These are the docs, really. This is the experimental modules thing that explains when it's removed, what level it needs to reach, and this is the cycle dates. These are the two that I derive my information from for reference.
Can you just post those links into chat right there?
Yeah, sure.
So I have those. Yeah, so like, I mean, things are moving pretty fast right now. Like, we're at the point in the project where things are going super fast. There's going to be a point coming up where things go super slow, especially like when we're like trying to get stuff, the code and like core, whatever, like standards and, things like that. But hopefully, I think like submitting a patch by late summer or so is doable, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that, Putra?
Yeah, I feel the same way as well too. I think we should be able to hit it.
A lot of the stuff we've done, especially on the forums and the tabs and stuff, we've just basically yanked it straight from Claro and kind of restyled it just a little bit. So thanks, Christina.
Yep.
Already meets all the requirements, then I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thought,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Claro has been really helpful as far as us, setting our build process and also using the right post-CSS packages. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
It's probably more Lauri's work there.
Yeah. Either way, we'll take it. Well, we have been taking it.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Like if there's some
Well done.
unification, because it helps reviewers as well. That it's easier to understand what's going on there.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Very cool.
And just a quick reminder for the Olivero theme, we're having a sprint tomorrow, a 4-day sprinting, and also on Saturday as well too. So if you guys are available, feel free to pop in as well too.
Very cool.
We're hoping to get more work done in the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So are you gonna tweet that to promote it that we can use to retweet, or should I?
We probably should. Now, yeah, we'll do it, and I can, we'll post it in the channel too, and I still need to request a time off from work. So
Yep.
I need to talk to my PM and say, hey.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it would be nice to get a retweet from you as well too, Gabor, on that. Awesome.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's great news. Okay, who wants to go next? If there's nothing else for Olivero that we can help with. I guess you have one more thing. So you have this core issue. This has all the tags for needs release manager, review, and front-end framework manager, and product manager. And I think once some of the craze dies down around the 9 prep, then we'll have more time to start looking at that. So yeah, it's still a lot of stuff is focused on getting ready for 9 now, but that should be possible later.
There's currently lots and lots of issues, minor things that are broke that just need they're not major, they're not going to be hard to fix, but they just need to get done. So yeah, we don't want anybody in core looking at things yet because there's too much stuff to find. If you
lifted your architecture or you had the tooling, etc. from Claro, then it should be fine, I hope. I mean, you wouldn't need to redo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who wants to go next? Nobody? Should I be calling people now?
As I said, I don't really have on the Claro side and the admin UI, I really don't have any updates more than there hasn't been many work done. There has been some design work, but all the people that was going actually to help, well, it actually came at the same moment as the coronavirus thing, so a lot of them can't actually put so much time here, so not huge steps done on that side. And while some background, not specific things, is that, well, we've been talking about what's the end of the initiative for the admin UI, what's the final goal, when we will be able to say it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So probably Claro will make getting Claro as a stable will probably be one of the goals for the initiative, and from there we will see if it really needs to keep being an initiative as we know most of the initiatives, or we have to start opening other smaller ones. That's a conversation that is still in place. Not really sure if it's something that goes on the update of the initiative itself.
Yeah, I see Angie joined in the meantime. I think Angie and I are big fans of having well-scoped initiatives that people can celebrate that they are done with, and they can move on, and then maybe start working on something new. We don't need to send people away to just stop working on Drupal now. but we have something to celebrate and accomplish and then move on instead of forever working on something.
So yeah, that's all.
So sorry, I was tuned out because I'm wrangling a 6-year-old while I'm doing this. So were you saying that you want Claro spin out into its own initiative so that we can finish it at some point?
No, I was actually saying that it hasn't been decided yet, but as we discussed a few months ago, that we should ideally have like a final goal, or at least one step of to complete something at some point, and that having Claro as a stable was probably this goal. And after that we needed to have this conversation about what was going to happen if the admin UI as initiative needs to keep being the admin UI initiative as we know it right now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my opinion is, yeah, same as Gabor's. I think I don't want in Drupal 9 anymore to do these huge buckets that are like migration. It's like, what does that mean? You know, like media, what does that mean? So I would much rather in 9.1 going forward, like, you know, Olivero is very straightforward. It's a new front-end theme for Drupal. When it's done, we're done. We don't have to keep working on it. So I would like all the 9.1 initiatives to be similarly scoped to me. So it's very clear to people what they're going to get at the end of whatever happens. That's my 2 cents.
Oh, yay. All right. Okay. So I don't know if we arrived at anything that something that we can help with for Claro, other than get more committers so that Larry has time or something.
No, well, but basically design. Right now, there will be like probably some weeks of design that needs to be done. There isn't that much to do, but there's, so my problem is that most of my time I'm doing something that is not designed on the initiative itself. So if we have someone that can do the project management or something like that of the initiative, and I don't know, taking care of all these reviewing issues and running the meetings and everything, I could focus more on the design. And otherwise, having someone that helps on the design side, that will be one, either both will help a lot moving this forward.
Okay, so I think we discussed this before, and I signed up, and I failed to deliver on that for running to doing the managerial side of stuff. So we should connect and see if I need to know anything special to help with that. I already know the meeting times, and definitely can facilitate the meetings. So we should talk after this meeting to or chat what else I can take off of your plate.
Thank you.
Because there's definitely something that I can help with.
That will be great.
Yeah, great. I'm making that note again here. Okay, who wants to go next? Did Mike disappear? I think if Mike would still be here, I would have suggested he goes next, because there's a big celebration point for Migrate, because the team proposed that we close the Migrate initiative, and basically everybody agreed. We don't have them in maintainers.txt, so basically the only thing that we are waiting for is for some scripted way to collect all the contributors that we can then celebrate for Migrate. So that would be a nice way to thank everyone who contributed for 6 years or so. It's been quite a while now. So yeah, everything is stable in core for Migrate. And it's going to be released as stable in 8.9 and 9.0. all the multilingual, monolingual, everything. And so the initiative is being declared finished. It does not mean that there's nothing to work on, but the goals were met. That's Migrate. Who else is here? Ted, what did you want to talk about?
I was just here to listen. I'm mostly working on Drupal 9 stuff and update module, but it's not really initiative per se. And
Okay.
I'm going to be working on auto updates, but I haven't familiarized myself with it yet. So
Okay,
I'll
update.
provide an update.
All right, it's fine. Fabian?
Yeah, I can go next. I have a little bit less celebratory news for CMI2. We're far from done, and actually when we were talking about before, when Angie said that she wants the initiatives to scope better, I think that's also something that we're struggling a little bit with, because I think the expectations are like everything needs to be better. And yeah, we don't have the amount of people to tackle everything, so we prioritized, and we're slowly progressing. But right now the issue, or not really the issue, but we focused more on updating contrib modules to use the new API that we have in 8.8 and getting things ready for Drupal 9. But we also have a new drush command that should help with the deployment process, because there is a lot of confusion, or like different people have different opinions on what the best practice is of which steps to follow to deploy code, and with update hooks and configuration import. And so now we have a new hook that is like the hook deploy name, kind of like a post update hook. Mm-hmm. But the post update hooks are meant to run together with the update hooks, and then you config import. But because people want to have update hooks to add content after the configuration is imported, they separate update hooks from post update hooks, and then like things don't work. But yeah, so we have a new drush hook, which is cool, and but it still needs a lot of documentation, and we need to like make sure that we write down what like the best practices are, and I think that's like the best target that we can currently do for Drupal 9, so that we kind of like, okay, now we have Drupal 9, and it's still mostly the same, but here is what you should do now. And we try to get everybody on the same page on how to do this. Because in Drupal 8, we were still learning what was the best ways. And a lot of the documentation is for module developers. But when you're developing a site versus when you're just developing a contrib module, it's a little bit a different workflow, and so we need to probably have more help with documenting things and writing down, and where it all needs to go on Drupal.org in the end. But yeah, that's otherwise it's been pretty slow in this quite hectic time of the year, or time in general.
I know. Okay. Any way that we can directly help you? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think directly not. Unless you know someone who wants to help document and knows the, like structures and things that where they need to go, and like how it needs to be written and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise, like we're just slowly progressing, and there's still some people who are interested in our meetings. That's good. So
we can
we need to get back to coding.
We can definitely sync up about the documentation question also.
Yeah, that would be great.
So that we can discuss what exactly needs documented, etc., where it should go, those questions that you raised. Okay.
Do you have thoughts, Fabian, if we were to differently scope CMI in 9.1 and above, like what would that look like? Like what would you like, because you're kind of feeling the same pain I think that Christina's feeling, which is like admin UI implies you're responsible for the entire admin UI and like have fun with that, you know, and CMI is kind of the same. It's like the entire configuration management system is all yours, you know. Do you have
exactly. And like, I mean, the biggest part with this is that there is so much different things that can be in this part, because like there's people who do multi-sites, and there's people who do who maintain profiles, and Drupal core like has some support for it, but like it's like basically everybody's left on their own devices, and yeah, so everybody comes up with their solution that works for them, but also it's very hard to find out what parts can be shared across projects and then brought into core. So it's I don't know, we probably need to like find like initiative like for how, or maybe it's just like better documentation, but I don't know myself because I don't do multi-site configuration management. I like so I don't really have any experience with that, and so I don't know, like, but it's still like a lot of people are expecting that we are fixing this problem as well.
I see.
And the same for like distributions. A lot of people make distributions, whether they like starter distributions or more like full-fledged products. And how when you're setting up a site based on a distribution, you get like all the new stuff, but also still keep your bespoke configuration that you had, and this kind of yeah, like the expectations are very high, and like I don't really know what like we can do, and there's not really any consensus, so it's we can't really work on anything, and then like there's still like this do everything and I don't know.
So it sounds like there's a couple of problems. One is that there's interest in solving problems with CMI that you either don't have particular like experience or expertise in, and or isn't scratching the same itches that you're trying to scratch. And two, even when that's the case, there's not really agreement or consensus on how to actually solve those problems. So like, it sounds like there's agreement that CMI with multi-site and CMI with distributions is a problem, but
yeah, exactly.
there's not agreement on what to do about that problem. Is that correct?
Exactly, and there's it's also really difficult to have like get a conversation started, because everybody's busy doing their own thing, and it works for them sort of, but also not, because they're still complaining about it. Like I don't know, it's yeah. But I think you summarize.
This is the kind of thing that were we having DrupalCon in a month or whatever, I would be like, oh yeah, we should have like a BOF about this at DrupalCon. But I wonder if we could do something like that, like virtually, you know, where it was like, you know, make one of your meetings, and you know, we'd have to like tweet out about this and stuff like that, but make this like the 9.1 planning meeting, you know, where everybody, you know, there's an issue to log what you want, you know, to talk about, and then during the meeting, and say it's a 2-hour long meeting or something instead of a regular one, like get a bunch of people in the same room to like, you know, hash through this stuff and kind of come up with a plan of attack. I don't know, that's just one idea. And then coming out of that, you know, if Mr. Jones is going to be super loudmouthed about the fact that, you know, CMI doesn't support multi-site, and say, okay, Mr. Jones, like, this is your task. You need to go and gather information and come up with a plan, put it in the ideas queue, and then we can look at it and we can talk about it. But start anointing some of these people who have the complaints as leaders in the project in some fashion, you know, like give them a job to do and give them, you know, tell them what they should, you know, here's the guidelines on how to make an idea in the ideas queue. We need you to scope this out and figure out what it would be, talk to people, get their buy-in, that kind of thing. And then that takes it off your plate, and it also gives them like a purpose and like a path forward to actually see something happen that they want to see happen. So that's just one idea that I have off the top of my head, because it sounds like you guys are kind of mired right now in like the CMI definition that made sense in like Drupal 8.6 or 8.4 or whatever it was that we made the CMI initiative again. But it sounds like it really could do with like okay, we've been working. Let's like pull our heads up and look around and see, you know, what we're doing now, and, you know, new world and what makes sense and that kind of thing. It might make sense to just kill the CMI initiative, I don't know, and then instead make multi-site actually work initiative, because that touches CMI and Composer and a million other things. And then that wouldn't have anything to do with you necessarily, you know? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but.
Yeah, that was like also a thought that I had recently, is that we kind of like de-scope it a little bit, and that because there are still actionable things that we want to do. And I mean, for 8.8 we had already like the base, like the like sort of the basement is already in for this feature, and the like how do you have different modules in different environments? It's relatively well scoped. But the problem is that there's all of the other things that are not part of that, and I was thinking that we should like abandon all of the other things and just make it much more clear what the goals are, and so that we're also done at some point with these like the goals, and not have the goals be the sky.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of the same problem as media and admin UI and the other ones. It's like, people see it as, oh, this is a big Christmas tree I can hang my special ornament on too, and mine too. You know what
exactly.
I mean? That kind of thing.
I think yeah, exactly. But this is also like a great opportunity. Now it's like Drupal 9, and it's like a new kind of phase, and we can say, okay, you know, we worked on this. Now we reevaluate. We come up like with something that we can you know implement better, or like we can actually achieve, and we set more realistic goals than just here, come and write on the list of things that you want to do without like personal investment in it, and then I think it'll be much easier for this to happen.
Makes sense.
But thanks for validating the idea.
So in terms of the mechanics, I agree that we'll need to do some parts of the contributor activities virtually that we are missing because DrupalCon does not exist. And I'm trying to sync up with the DA about that. Also about what we do about launching Drupal 9 as a virtual rollout, because we'll not have anything in person in 2 months to roll it out. Yeah, we need to figure out those things. They are going through a tough time right now, so I haven't been able to get more details last week yet, but that's hopefully going to change soon, as they will need to get more. We need to get more concrete plans. There needs to be virtual contribution. There needs to be virtual BOFs and hard problems meetings and all of those things for us to be able to move forward, I think. All right, Mike, you came back, went away, came back. Mike, so I kind of reported on Migrate in the meantime. Have you seen the doc? Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I had to restart, but I really was only, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I really was only popping in to basically say that Migrate is not an initiative anymore, but I didn't have a ton to add beyond that, and nothing really to add on Drupal 9 either, so I'm pulling up the doc right now. but yeah, nothing really for me other than to say that that we did get the multilingual migration modules stabilized, and so we're really excited about that. Work does not end, but migration is an initiative. We're gonna pull it back and not call it an initiative anymore. It's gonna just be iterating on what we have and continue to work on it. So that's the plan.
Congrats.
Woo-hoo!
Yay.
Congratulations. Also, hi everyone.
Hey.
No, but seriously, you know, that initiative was like the first one we started in like 2012 or something. Like, I don't know if it was the first one, but you know what I mean? It's like been around for many years, and it's a big deal that it's done now.
Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, I won't say that there'll never be an initiative around migration again, but let's tailor it to something specific, something smaller in scale. Yeah, like I said, work will continue. We got still a lot of things that we want to do and a lot of things we want to add, but we'll be doing it in the issue queue and not under the guise of a whole initiative at this point. So very exciting.
Yeah, it's a huge win for the Drupal project, and to have this done is great, and everybody who contributed to this should be really proud of what's been achieved and what's been done, and obviously a huge thank you to yourself and everybody involved in that initiative on behalf of myself and so many of my colleagues, because it makes our lives a hell of a lot easier. And provides a great framework for doing migrations. So seriously, a real thanks for putting in all the effort on that and to everybody in that initiative. So.
Yeah, it's been a long initiative with a lot of people that over the years, some have come, some have gone, some have come back, and some have gone away again. It's been a wave of people all the way, going back to folks like Mike Ryan, who doesn't, we still see him from time to time, but hasn't been active in a while, to the current maintainers and all the people that have stepped up in between. So it's a very long list.
Yeah, congrats.
Thanks.
All right, I guess I can say some stuff about Drupal 9 because we did not talk about that yet. So Drupal 9, there's beta 2 out now. There's probably another beta in 2 weeks or so, and then there's an ELF as a RC on the first week of May, and then a month after there's going to be the release. It's, I think, 62 days left before the release, 2 months basically. So we're really getting there. So we are starting to look at stuff like the designing a landing page for Drupal.org, and as I said, how do we do an online rollout of a major release of Drupal that we never did before. We've also reworked the Drupal 9's deprecation status dashboard on dev.acquia.com. It's dev.acquia.com/Drupal9/deprecation status, which a lot of people use to track readiness of Drupal 9 things. I'm going to actually show this because I think it's pretty cool, pretty useful. It's probably better explanation. So this is it. So it shows you now the projects that are explicitly Drupal 9 compatible, so you can like Composer require these without anything else, and they would work in Drupal 9. And they're all the 3,700 projects that, according to our tools, if you believe what the tools say, they only need an info file change, or if they have a Composer file, also Composer file change. So basically only their metadata needs to say that I'm compatible with Drupal 9. And we started having Rector coverage reporting here. So there's another almost 400 projects that you just run Rector on. It automatically fixes all the errors in them. So you don't even I mean, you need a human to review what the fix is, but you don't need to look up what the fixes need to be. You just need to run the tool on them and review what the tool produced and then agree or not agree. And there's a bunch more that you can run Rector and it will fix some of the things. And then still about a third of the projects are not covered by Rector yet and have a bunch of issues. And we've also have more interesting data on the actual projects. So now there's a tracking of the top 200 projects. About a quarter of them are explicitly compatible now with Drupal 9, and a lot of them only need a release or info file change. And the same graph for all of the projects, and then the same for error counts. It's not changing too much. So I guess the projects are making releases, but they're not fixing too much yet. We'll see this rise probably, the green rise, where projects don't have errors. And then the same about the fixability gradings with a Rector and non-Rector errors. And then the deprecated APIs in core that since our last meeting in January, we removed all of the deprecated APIs in core. So we don't have any deprecated APIs anymore in Drupal 9. Deprecated for Drupal 9. We removed all of them. So we have some stuff deprecated for 10, but not for 9. So yeah, so this tool could be used to find projects, like if you are interested in projects that only need an info YAML file change and they have a Drupal 9 plan, so the project is interested in working with you, and now you have 144 projects that you can discuss changing their info file and making a release. So it allows you to do all kinds of interesting things where you can go in and work with them, or the stuff that you only need to run Rector on, and there's 14 of them that you can run Rector on and submit them, or look at what patches they already have and review them. So it's a tool that can help you fix stuff on top of reporting on the status. So that's, I guess, what we have there. And what I'm trying to get out there as well is that we have upgrade status now has coverage for a lot more of these problems with Twig deprecated APIs and Composer JSON incompatibility and deprecated libraries, and it's going to soon have support for deprecated theme function checking, and all of that should be running as part of this tool. And we have the backend portions done for that. So I will work with the DA in the coming days to try to roll that out so that this tool will report a lot more errors and will be a lot more believable, and will help us to fix all of them. So that's it, I guess, for Drupal 9. Anything else? Anybody else that I forgot to call? Anything else that we can help with, Angie or myself? Well, if not, then thank you for coming. I will post a recording of this later when it becomes available, when I can upload it. Thank you, and keep up the great work.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you.